I'm going to start this video with a beautiful quote from a movie that deserves a lot more love. That movie is called The Boondock Saints. Seriously, that movie deserves a lot more love. Now, first I want to begin with the fact that I do not know any of the political views of anyone who worked on the movie, but this is a darn good quote that applies to the crap situation we're in now. Where it begins with a priest giving a sermon in a church, and two Irish brothers are listening. And the priest is telling about a woman who suffered under a very horrible crime, died because of a horrible crime committed by two evil men. But it could have been stopped by a lot of people who were watching it, who did nothing to protect her. And he ended his sermon saying, "Now we must always fear bad men. But the one thing we must fear the most, the indifference of good men." And that's what has happened now. To you voters, you millions of American voters who did not vote in the 2024 election, you ruined us. Whatever reason you have, it wasn't good enough. Oh, I do not like both candidates, so I'm not going to vote, and I'm going to leave it into the hands of fate. Well, look what happened. Look what happened. You didn't vote because of what reason? Your morals? Your morals? What morals? Your morals were indifference, and you didn't show up. And now here we freaking are. God forbid you open a history book and realize how many people fought and died for all of our rights to vote. The American Revolution fought for our rights to have access to vote. And many poor people who fought for their rights to vote. Many women who fought and died, risked their life for women's rights to vote. Many people of color, especially black people, who fought for our right to vote and died for our right to vote. And it didn't matter to you. None of that mattered. Because you got hung up on all the hysteria of what the media was putting out. We had a good candidate and we had a bad candidate. We had a candidate, yes, who admits she was not perfect, but she would work over and over again for the American people. And we got another candidate who was doing it all for himself and to keep from getting into jail. Everything he said and did was horrible. And whatever policies he had were not real, or didn't exist, or they become bad policies. He's offensive, brings out the worst in people, incites chaos, incited an insurrection, is a criminal, a racist, a rapist. And because you did not show up, this is our new president. You didn't show up. And now we're all having to suffer under your mistakes. You didn't show up. This is the American people now. Y'all didn't show up. The indifference of good men. Now we got a bad man in office. Actually, got quite a few bad men in office. We could have had a president, a woman with a conscience, but we have a bad man in office because of the indifference of people who could have been good, on top of all the bad ones. This is what you've done. And what's worse, you're probably not going to feel anything. But you should. Because we're stuck in this now. We're stuck in this now. Congratulations.